2024 playoff edition, man. Yo, man, I'm hyped. Yo, we coming off an amazing week and weekend. Man, salute to everybody who's in the building early. I am the objective fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, man. And listen, yo, you're now rocking with the podcast, the place to be, the place where we cover the Knicks 365. You give me 50 minutes, I give you the Knicks. And we have a lot to talk about today. As you can see, I got the topics next to me. Salute to all the people that's in the building early. I decided to do a live podcast because on Sunday we did the live play-by-play. And because of that, I really couldn't do a show yesterday because I didn't have any time. I like to record the podcast after the last game, so at least we have something good to talk about. So salute to you if you're in the building early, man. You're in the place to be. I am so excited for where we are. We're coming off an action-packed week. As you can see, the topics we'll be talking about, of course, the series, the Knicks versus Sixers, Game 5. We'll talk about Game 4 a little bit. We also get into Mitchell Robinson, his injury update from Coach Tibbs. We'll also get into Devin Booker, the rumors. That's going to be the flagship topic. So if you're watching that, we'll get to that in a second. We'll also talk about Brunson, his, him getting support from certain people in terms of his MVP push, word in the street, and more, man. So, man, listen, if you are a Knicks fan and you haven't been living under a rock, or you're not a casual fan, the Knicks definitely made some noise in Philadelphia. I mean, taking over the Wells Fargo Arena, doing what we said they should do in the last podcast. I wish I had the clip ready. But I talked about it. I said, yo, the Knicks need to go over there into the Wells Fargo and take over that building. Knicks Nation need to be out there heavy. And that's exactly what they did. So I'm getting ready to jump into research mode. I'm just trying to prepare the windows. For whatever reason, I didn't get a chance to do it beforehand. But we're going to jump into research mode so we can see all the topics. But definitely let all your people know, all your Knicks people know we are live and getting ready to rock and roll. But yeah, like I was saying, they took over the arena. I mean, it's so funny to watch the narrative change, and more in particular, TNT. I mean, to watch Charles Barkley and Shaq and all these guys have to give us our props, to me, is nothing more gratifying than seeing that, because I know they don't want to. I know it kind of like we upset the apple cart, because for some reason, the Philadelphia 76ers were the team to beat. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand how the Sixers were the favorites going into the series. But if you ask a lot of these guys, that's exactly what they'll tell you. So just trying to get my windows open. Give me 2 seconds. And yeah, we're going to begin, man. I like to jump into research mode. If you're new to the podcast, this is what we do. We jump into research mode early. I put everything on the screen so we can analyze it together. And let's see. Open up all. So I got all of my windows open, and we're going to get ready to get it started. So without further ado, let's jump into research mode. All right. So we're going to start off just some basic stuff, where we are as a franchise, where we are as a team. Right now, we're getting ready to head to Game 5. We'll do a little preview for that in a second. But so far, so good. I want to look at these stats real briefly. Still a short sample size because it's only the first round. But what a difference a week makes. I believe when we did the first podcast last week, we were up to Game 2, or it was either right before Game 2 or literally right after Game 2. Jalen Brunson has picked up his scoring, his production. He actually is averaging 33 and 9. Of course, Josh Lionheart, his scoring went down a little bit. But look at the rebounds. He's averaging 12.8 rebounds in the series. Amazing. I think that might even be more than Embiid. I think he's actually leading the entire series in rebounds thus far. OG Anunoby's picked up his play, but honestly, all the things that OG has done, it can't be shown on the stat sheet, right? So definitely great production thus far from the guys. And it's a short sample size. I know you're going to say Dante, his scoring has dropped. But hey, he's doing what we need him to do. And I look forward to Dante having a good night tonight. I look forward to all of the guys having a good night tonight. Now, we do got some news, some injury news that we're going to get into in a second. But real quickly, there's some things in this game I want to go over from game 2. Jalen Brunson has made history, right? As a Knick, he definitely and I'm gonna pull up an old media source in here in a second. Yeah, Jalen Brunson, salute to Mike Vaccaro with the post, right? So it said I watch a lot of basketball podcasts, and the thing about it, what gives me the edge and advantage in talking about the Knicks is the fact that I actually cover the Knicks 365. I mean, I read every article of news, everything that is Knick related, I absorb. So if you're watching the Knicks casually, you know, they might play 25 national TV games. So you might watch half of those games because half the time you have watching anyway. You just fall victim to the old media narrative and you're not able to really dive deeper because your understanding is going to be limited based on what they're saying. So it was stated that Jalen Brunson, one, he's not a superstar. I actually got a video coming talking about that. But they also stated how Jalen Brunson, he doesn't get love from old media or the Knicks, the New York media. When if you've been reading the news, especially within the past week, I would say ever since even Game 3, the media has definitely been giving him the praise. I mean, there's been a lot of articles talking about MVP, but what makes Jalen Brunson's performance so legendary is that he actually broke a playoff record that was held by Bernard King, who had 40. I'm sorry, his record. I think he had 46. Hold on, let me just double check my notes. So yeah, but yeah, I think he had 46. I'm not seeing it here for some reason. But yeah, that record stood for 40 years. So salute to Jalen Brunson for breaking that record. Honestly, the way it's looking right now, it's looking like Jalen Brunson might be top. He might be top 3 Knick all time within 2 years, bro. I mean, I know. Hey, don't shoot me for saying that. Let me know if you disagree with me in the chat. I don't mind the disagreement. Even after the broadcast, if you're rewatching it, but he's doing things, historic things that we haven't seen in a long time. Bernard King record of 46. I just double check 40 years. So amazing job, man. And he's also doing it. He also did it with 10 assists as well. So, Jalen Brunson is getting the credit that he deserves, the praise that he deserves. I think that the man is amazing. He's nothing short of amazing, man. We just close this window out. But so yeah, OG also joined the fray. He had his 16 with 14 rebounds, right? Amazing job from OG and Anunoby. Of course, Josh Hart. He had 17 rebounds, 0 of 7 from the field. Now, you know why this is so incredible, right? Because you have the 7-footers in this game. Look at the 7-footers in this game. So Isaiah Hartenstein, 4 rebounds, right? Let's pull up Joel Embiid, 10 rebounds, right? Those are the only 2 7-footers that played the game, and those guys are 3rd and 4th in rebound. So the Knicks really, man, they are really grinding it out. They're doing exactly what they need to do to get the job done, to get a guy like Josh Hart not scoring a field goal and still making the most of his opportunities, right? But bringing it back to Jalen Brunson, briefly, I got another article here. You got to love Jalen, and once again, I'm going to salute Jalen Brunson again. You have to applaud the fact that Jalen Brunson doesn't even care about the accolades because, all right, I just was talking about podcasts. So one of the podcasts I watch is Gilbert Arenas. Salute to Gilbert. I think those guys do a really good job over there. But a lot of the times you see Gilbert would say little slight things like, "Oh, well, at least I dropped 50 on them. I dropped this, I dropped that." And Jalen Brunson, to me, and this is what part of the reason, little spoiler for that Jalen Brunson's a star video. One of the things that he values winning over his individual accolades. A lot of people say it in the media, right? But they don't show it. And if you watch Jalen Brunson, his game, his demeanor, the way he carries himself, clearly he is somebody that doesn't care about the individual accolades. So Jalen Brunson stated that he'll look back at this 47-point record when he retires. Because you know why? We still got work to do. And we can't get caught up in just meaningless stats that don't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things, right? When you break down your career and you want to look at what you accomplished, this man wants to win the championship. He doesn't care how he gets it done. Even with the first 2 games, Dante said it. Look, it don't matter if he's not scoring the way he's supposed to score. The key thing about it is that we're winning the game. So round of applause for Jalen Brunson. His mentality, I love his demeanor, how he carries himself. There's more to it than just, the way he plays. It's his attitude, right? Sort of like there's something that the greats possess. So let's see. Josh Hart, he said that in terms of Jalen Brunson's 47-point performance, he said we needed it. His starting small forward, power forward, whatever the hell I am. He always jokes I'm 6'4". He always jokes about his position on the floor, right? He said I ain't make a shot. I was like Shaq at the free throw line, so we needed it, man. So Jalen Brunson getting the praise that he deserves. Check this out. In games 3 and 4, Jalen Brunson, he averaged 43 points on 11.5 assists while shooting 50% from the floor. Oh, my God, that's amazing. Talking about stepping up to the plate, because we knew already, like I said a little earlier, this series is going to exactly how we described it. I said that, Knicks going to win the first 2 games, then they'll lose game 3, and then game 4, they're going to take game 4, and then we're going to close it out tonight in the Garden. So if you just joined the stream, this is This Week Inside the New York Knicks, episode 2. We're talking about, I didn't get a chance to do the pod yesterday, so I'm doing it today. But we're going to be talking about the flagship topic in a second. So if you're here for that, we will get to that. All of the topics that you see on the screen, we will cover. So right now, I'm just giving a little brief rundown of game 2, my perspective. Game 4, my perspective of it. Jalen Brunson doing his thing. And, the Knicks taking that 3-1 lead. And so let's see what I got here next. Of course, I got to give a salute to Precious Achiuwa as well. This is why, to the stat stuffers or the people who like to watch stats and to the players who like to stuff the stat sheet, this is why watching the game is important, because those things can deceive you. So if you look at the stat sheet here, you'll see Precious Achiuwa, he had 1 point off of 0-5 shooting. So the minute you see the 1 point with the 0-5 shooting, you'll say, oh, Precious had a bad game. But when you look at the plus minus, that really tells the story, even though plus minus doesn't always tell the story. He's a plus 11, right? He had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 big blocks, key blocks. Salute to Precious Achiuwa for doing what he had to do in this game. Definitely, I'm glad that old media is getting the praise. So to the people who don't or who aren't familiar with New York media and for some reason think that the fans and the media isn't giving these guys their praise when they are, the New York Post, like I said, they had many articles talking about this. If you want to read this, you can check this out on New York Post. Precious Achiuwa, he delivered a crucial impact when the Knicks needed the most. You can read this article, and this article will tell you all the key things that he did in this game. In my opinion, it was the ability to come in the game, sometimes defend Embiid, right? Sometimes Coach Tibbs did something that was really smart, and we covered it in the live play-by-play. Salute to you if you watched the live play-by-play. But one of the adjustments he did was he put OG on Embiid, and sometimes he would fluctuate and mix that matchup up. But OG took Embiid, especially in the fourth quarter. But also Precious defense and rebounding in the fourth quarter also helped these guys, because Isaiah Hartenstein didn't close the game. Precious closed the game because he was effective, his hustle, everything. And another thing too with Precious, because he's not a 7-footer, he has a little bit more lateral quickness than the other guys do typically. So salute to him, man. He's definitely did his thing. If you just joined the building, this is the podcast episode 2. Let me just make sure I could see all the messages. So salute to you for joining the building. We're talking about game 4, but I'm moving quick and moving fast because we have a lot of topics that we're going to talk about. And we talked about OG's performance as well. We talked about Josh Hart. So all of these articles here is the Knicks getting the praise from the old media. I don't know what people. I understand it. You're not watching the Knicks. You don't pay attention to the Knicks, so you don't really know what's going on. But what's going on is the Knicks is actually getting their props, especially from New York media. For sure, New York media definitely has given them the props. In fact, we talked about it last week on the pod where we said the experts gave the prediction. It was like 4 or 5 authors from the Post, and they picked the Knicks to win the series. and they gave their different reasons why. Some was game 7, some was game 6, right? So yeah, I mean, I think the Knicks get exactly what they need. And the crazy part about this game, to wrap up this game, right, is that the concern going into game 4 was the fact that Mitchell Robinson, he was a plus 29 in terms of plus and minus of Knicks who logged more than 50 minutes. I think that probably is the highest of any other Knick in the series, and they were able to get the job done without him in the lineup. So once again, our team is battle tested, right? A lot of these teams haven't gone through the struggles that we've gone through thus far. So that's also what gives us the edge. Right now, we're going to see what Boston's made of, because KP, he hurt his calf. Right, they said it was tightness. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I'm telling you right now, the Boston Celtics are a different team without KP. Right, Denver, Jamal Murray. Right, he has some injuries. Right, because we saw Caldwell KCP last night. He also had, I think he hurt his leg. I can't remember if it was his knee or something like that. He hurt his leg, right? So a lot of these teams going through adversity. Jalen Williams was smacked in the face the other night, right? We thought that he sat out the whole first quarter, or at least half the first quarter. And so, a lot of these teams, especially the Thunder, they haven't gone through the adversity. The Knicks, it don't matter who's in the lineup. We always persevere. We always move forward. We always move through. So, and that's just what we do. I'm just trying to wrap up this game 4 stuff. So, also in game 4, Bojan Bogdanovic, he had a left knee contusion. He left the game, and that's what he's diagnosed with. I know for tonight he's going to be out. I'm gonna get more to that injury report in a second. But before I get to that, I also want to salute Knick Nation for doing what they had to do, taking over the Wells Fargo Arena. I wish I was there. We was here together watching the game, doing the live play-by-play. But, Knick Nation showed out to the point where they was outside the building chanting FNB in Philadelphia, right? I was surprised because I didn't realize that we could take over like how we took over game 4. Because Philadelphia definitely has a prideful fan base. And Joel Embiid even called his guys out saying, he was a little disappointed that the New York fans was able to do what they was able to do. He said in his 10 years, he'd never seen this. So, listen, in the past 10 years, the Knicks haven't had the success, nor have we seen the Sixers in the playoff series. So any team, especially on the Eastern Conference, when you're going up against the Knicks, you got to understand you're not just playing the 5 guys that's on the floor. You're going to be playing the entire Knick Nation, because Knick Nation, we travel, we're everywhere. I'm sorry, they try to compare us with the Lakers and see who has the most fans. I think the Knicks have the most fans in the NBA. I understand the Warriors overtook the Knicks in becoming the most, the most celebrated franchise. By the way, salute to the subscriber that just subscribed. I didn't get a chance to shout them out. Anytime somebody subscribes, it'll pop up on the screen, but salute to that subscriber. But yeah, the Warriors, they have the most money in terms of monetary value, but the Knicks, in my opinion, still have the most fans. And I think the Knicks can even overtake the Warriors, especially if we win a championship, right? The Warriors won 4 championships within a 10-year span. That's what helped propel them to the top. My thing is with the Warriors, what happens when Steph Curry retires, or if they have to break this team up, right? Or they have to go in a different direction, right? So the Knicks have been battle tested, right? We hadn't had a good team in a long time, and now this is our time to shine. So salute to Knick Nation for taking over the building. Let's see. Let's move forward. See what else I got here. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, Joel Embiid, he was mad. 10 years he hasn't seen it. More and more old media celebration, right? Like I said, just bigging up the Knicks and what they was able to do, right? So yeah. So this is what I was talking about. Coach Tibbs, he gave an injury update on Mitchell Robinson. And Mitchell Robinson, his situation. Now, once again, like we know, he was plus 32. He was a key factor in the series. And we definitely, I'm not saying if he has to sit out for precautions of health and it's going to help him, be ready for the next round, sit him. I think Precious has shown you he could give you what he could give you. I think OG's shown you that he's able to switch on Embiid if you need to. Right, he even got another body in Jericho Sims just in case you need a body. Right, so I think that it will be okay. But Coach Tibbs said that he warmed up, right, during the game, but he wasn't right. And that's why they sat him down, even after he got all the treatment that you normally get, right? So Coach Tiff said he wasn't quite there. And so you keep getting your treatment, get a look at it tomorrow, and then we go from there. So right now, he's still questionable for tonight. We could double check it, right? Because I do have the game here. Let's see. So, yeah, he's still a game time decision. Bojan has been ruled out. Now, also remember, Bojan is also dealing with the wrist injury that he had, right? And so that's going to be, kind of scary. Hopefully maybe he's going to be out tonight, but in the second round, you're going to need Bojan Bogdanovic. So, it says May 2nd here. I had an article. I don't have it up here, but I'm going to just tell you, I did some research on knee contusions, and maybe I'll do a separate video on this. Now, here's the thing with a contusion, right? Typically, no surgery is required, so that's a good thing, right? However, you have mild, and then you have more severe. The more severe takes weeks and months to heal of rest. If he has a mild knee contusion, then days. So he could be ready to go. Like it says here, I'm hopeful that this May 2nd date holds up, because then that confirms whether or not it's a mild injury for Bojan Bogdanovic. Mitch, he's a game time decision. Like we said, we're plus 32. No, we're plus 29, sorry, with him on the floor. So we definitely could use Mitch if he's available. So that's the injury updates, right? Let's see. Let's keep moving forward. Here we are, news-wise. So, of course, Stephen A. Smith, he went. I'm going to salute Stephen A. Smith. No smoke for him this playoff thus far. He has us going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I have us going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So all the people that just joined the building, this is This Week Inside the New York Knicks, right? Episode 2. I have episode 1 up there, but it's really episode 2. That's an error. But the date is correct. We're covering the news between the 22nd to the 29th. Let me guys know in the chat if anything you want to talk about in terms of the news that I'm talking about. I'll respond to your commentary. Just leave a chat in the comment section. I'll comment in the chat section and we'll talk about it. But I have no fire for Stephen A. Smith this postseason. He actually has held us down, right? He actually has been giving us the credit that old media typically doesn't give us, right? He and, of course, Kendrick Perkins. And in this clip here, I would play it, but you ain't going to be able to hear it. But yeah, he just was basically gave a little happy, shout. He was chanting and all of that stuff, happy that we won. So salute to Stephen A. Smith for sure. He's definitely been holding us down in the postseason. Ben Stiller, you know what? Salute to Ben Stiller. First off, Nick Nation, right? You got to understand, you got to be careful when coming for our Knicks. We're not having it, right? Especially when we have a good team. You can't undermine the value of this team, especially this season, and the pride, the hope that it's given us all year, right? And a lot of people run with the old narratives from 10 years ago. It really drives me crazy. Like Gilbert Arenas with his old narratives of, the Knicks fans, they're going to boo the team if the players isn't playing. Well, that was true when he was playing. When he was playing, we had Ronaldo, Balkman, and a who's who of guys that never really panned out to be what it is we wanted them to be, right? So you can't use those standards for these Knicks. How many times has Jalen Brunson, even Julius Randle, when he was doing his thing last year, and even the year when he won Most Improved, how many times on the road, forget the home crowd, on the road you hear MVP chants? From now Brunson, because Randall hasn't been there, and Brunson he's ascended. But how many times do you hear on the road, forget home, MVP? We got to stop with these old narratives. So Ben Stiller, he don't care. Richard Jefferson kind of was caught in, he kind of got some crossfire because he wasn't the one that really said what he had to say. But Ben Stiller doesn't care. He's giving all of them the smoke. He said Richard Jefferson claiming Joel Embiid doesn't get calls and doesn't foul, right? That's what he wrote on Twitter, right? And this was after the win, the Game 4 win, okay? So Richard Jefferson replied, he definitely was cautious in his reply. because he said, hold on 1 second, guys. Just want to make sure. Okay. So we good. Yeah, so he replied cautiously by saying, Benjamin, I love you. But that's not what I said. So Richard Jefferson said he didn't say that, right? So he said, hold on. Embiid in the Sixers center has been the center of Knicks ire, right? He was issued a flagrant foul. By the way, that flagrant foul, I'm gonna get to that in a second, but that was crazy because even if you didn't give him that flagrant 2 for that, he should have still been ejected because he literally need Dante DiVincenzo. That should have been a flagrant. So if you get 2 flagrant ones in one stretch, you would be eliminated to the game, right? So Ben Stiller, he fired back after Richard Jeff said he didn't say that. He said, respect Richard, but Embiid gets so many calls. And the reference was to one of the fouls that Batum did commit, right? So then Richard said, he added, he grabbed Mitch's ankle and he should have been, I'm sorry, Ben Stiller added that Embiid grabbed Mitch's ankle and he should have been ejected, right? So cool. So here's what Richard Jefferson had to say. I didn't do that game, but I do agree with you, right? Before going on to offer some feedback to Steelers. So you were referencing when we thought it was on Embiid, but the video and the ref showed it was on Batum, and we corrected it. You corrected it, and you were bothered by that, right? So, and then he added the GIF of how many of you guys have ever seen that movie Anchorman? So he added a GIF of that. I don't got that image here, but that's kind of funny. That movie's kind of funny. And Ben Stiller was kind of funny in that. But anyway, so Richard Jefferson, he bowed out. He didn't want the smoke. He said, P.S. He does get a lot of calls as the reigning MVP, as reigning MVPs so often do. So Richard Jefferson learning, hey, you got to be careful with Nick Nation, right? Even though Ben Stiller, Richard Jefferson was right, he didn't say that. But at the same time, we don't care. Listen, ESPN is ESPN. You guys get all roped in. I don't care. Oh, I didn't write it. It wasn't me. But yeah, you guys are on TV laughing and snickering together. So you get the smoke. And also, if other guys can use history that's not actually valid today in terms of how they judge us, then we are allowed to run with the old media narrative and put all you guys in the basket. All you guys feel the same way. I see it every time, whether it's Jalen Brunson's too small, the Knicks are good, but they don't have this. It's always a slight towards the Knicks to undermine us because that's what gets the clicks, ratings, and views, right? But I see what they're trying to do as well as we win. They are trying to shift the narrative just in case the Knicks shock the world and win the championship, which is definitely a possibility. I'm not saying that it's likely to happen, but it's definitely a major possibility. So let's see where we are right now. Hold on. Let me get to page 3 of my notes. So salute to you if you just joined the chat. This is This Week Inside the New York Knicks, episode 2. I know it says 1 on the top, but it's episode 2, and those dates are correct. And those are some of the topics. We talked about game 4. Now we're going to move forward and talk about some more stuff. So let's see. So I got Stephen A. Got Ben Stiller. I got an article here talking about Jalen Brunson, how he's elevated the Knicks franchise. I'm not going to get into this article, but definitely check it out on SNY. Ian Begley. This was actually a really good article talking about some of the things that Jalen Brunson has done to set our franchise up. What I will say is this. I do think that Jalen Brunson has brought some of that. I'm not sure if it's just a Villanova thing where those teams were such winners. And then when you look at all the players that was on that roster and how they impact teams, I mean, it makes sense. Maybe it's some of that too. It's just Jalen Brunson, how he's been groomed, he's been prepared. He's a son of an NBA player who had privilege to actually see what NBA life is like as a kid. So all of that comes into play. I just think he's a perfect blend of a player who definitely has what it takes to get the job done. Is he the number one option on a championship caliber team? Yes, he is. I believe so. He's done it in college. Why can't he do it in the pros? He had Nicholas Batum in the posting up a 6'8" guy. No, not Batum too, but I'm talking about Tobias Harris. He's posting up Tobias Harris in the post, hitting fadeaways and hook shots in the post over guys that have him by 6 inches. So Jalen Brunson definitely, he brings that to the table. Check that article out. Great read. Look at this. Old media giving the Knicks love. I'm trying to understand how these guys in media don't do their research before they comment on the Knicks. And if you're not going to do your research, people like me and the guys that cover the Knicks every day will eat you up for breakfast, especially me. I eat you up for breakfast because I know all of the old media narratives, right? And I understand that you don't watch enough Knick basketball when you want to jump. Even like, all right, salute to Shannon Sharp, right? I think he does a great job on Nightcap and all that stuff. But I was watching a little clip of him and Stephen A. Smith talking about the Game 4 performance yesterday, right? And Shannon Sharp, he's talking about the Knicks, but you could tell he don't watch the Knicks enough because he's talking about Jalen Brunson's did his thing, though he's so small. Anytime they say he's small, I know they're running with the old media narrative. So, yeah, you can watch and read the news, which is very important, right? I read the news. But if you're not watching the games, see, watching the games and reading the news brings it to life, brings it to focus. So now you actually are informed and you can actually have a perspective that makes sense. But when you're just reading the news and you're not watching enough games, right, you're not really paying attention to the fine details, we can tell that your commentary is casual. And a lot of people have casual Knick commentary. So, yeah, Deuce McBride, he's doing his thing. I mean, I have a video on the channel talking about IQ and his ascension and how is he the IQ 2.0. I think that he gives you not maybe the same scoring quality because maybe IQ is a better offensive player right now, especially scoring the ball, but he can score and he's a better defender. So, and he's moldable, and you could play him with JB, and you could back him up. Like you could plug him anywhere. He's played small forward. The kid is talented, man. So salute to the Post. That's another good article. If you didn't read it yet. So yeah, Joel Embiid. He is now welcome to Joel Embiid. You have been inducted. You know, I'm gonna give him a round of applause to the Hall of Players who Knicks fans hate. Right? You could tell by the many FNB chants. We talked about how they did it in his own building. They put the jersey on the statue. I didn't even get to that part. They put the jersey on. Oh, my God. Yo, it was crazy in Philadelphia. But salute to Joel Embiid for joining the ranks of Trae Young, who's the latest guy who we just don't like. I'm not sure if Donovan Mitchell is despised that much. You guys could let me know in the chat about Donovan Mitchell. Is Donovan Mitchell somebody who we don't like? I'm not sure about that. But definitely, I know Jimmy Butler is kind of on the list too, even though he does get a lot of respect because he is Jimmy Butler. But we don't like Jimmy Butler either. But this guy right here, oh boy, with his dirty play, right? And just the fact that he quit. I mean, he was talking all that smack and he quit. See, if he would have went out like the Black Mamba, who ain't gonna stop attacking, maybe he might have got more respect. But because he quit, and literally, and I talked about this on the live broadcast, when Maxey and Harris was initiating the offense at the top of the key, Joel Embiid went into the corner in the weak side and just stood there the entire possession. This is down the stretch. The Sixers are down in the last 5 minutes. Is the time to really take it up a notch. The man went into the corner and hid. So, yeah, he's definitely added to that list of guys who, you know, we just don't rock with. So I'm going to get into a little bit of this one news article, something to be concerned about. The Hornets have expressed interest in hiring Brock Aller to Jeff Peterson's new front office. Now, that's a good thing. I'm going to explain why in a second. SNY Aller, who's the Knicks vice president, if you don't know who he is, Brock Aller, he's the vice president of basketball operations and strategic planning. And he was Leon Rose's first strategic hire. He is honestly been somebody that's been instrumental in like salary cap strategies, right? You see how we got these guys on favorable contracts? That's all him. You know, getting guys like all right, so when we signed Jalen Brunson, for example, the weighting of his contract, meaning that the highest salary for Jalen Brunson in his 4-year deals come in the beginning of the contract. So I think it started out at 27, 28. I don't want to pull it up, but Jalen Brunson, the most money he's ever received per year in his 4-year deal started already. So now it's like the declining salary. So you start high and go lower. This guy, Brock Aller, he's the guy that's responsible for setting up these deals for us, right? And so, and he signed several guys to contracts at descending value over the years, right? These deals are generally viewed as team friendly. So he's a master at conducting and crafting team friendly contracts. And so, and Charlotte contacted him about a position, right? So, now the good news is not to run the show because they already got their guy running the show. Basically, he would go to Charlotte to do what he's doing in New York. Why would you leave the New York job? You're not getting more money. I don't think they could give him more money than he would get in New York. But really, it's the positioning. So everybody eventually wants to get to the point where they become like Leon Rose. Leon Rose, he's the president. He runs the show. Now, if they was giving him a job to be president, I would be concerned. But I just want to highlight that Brock, he's getting interest from guys. They're looking at him. And that's the thing in the NBA. Like if you begin to make noise, people will knock on your door. Remember Mike Woodson, for example. Remember he was the coach. He was an assistant in the first year. Then he left. I can't remember where he went. I think he went to college somewhere. I can't remember the school he went to. But either way, he got a head coaching job and he had to leave. And I don't think he could even completed the season. So yeah, that's the breaks when you're a good team. You start to lose people as you move forward. But hopefully Brock doesn't go anywhere because we need him to continue, constructing these contracts, right? Now, let's preview tonight's game, and then I'm going to jump into the flagship topic in a second. If you just tuned in, you want to know about Devin Booker, I'm going to get to him in a second. But let's talk about Game 5. I'm very confident going into Game 5, even if Mitch can't go. The reason why I'm so confident is, one, Philadelphia has shown me that they worry about the fans too much. I wouldn't even acknowledge the fans. I would say, yeah, it is what it is. But the fact that Joel Embiid was so bothered by the fans, if you think the Philadelphia crowd, in terms of the Knicks fans that were in attendance, were loud, what do you think is going to happen in MSG? MSG is going to be crazy. It's going to be a hostile environment. And the Sixers have shown me that they can't get over the hump in a hostile environment. The fans, which is technically my 7th key to victory, right? I don't have the keys to victory on the screen right now. But some of the keys to victory is dominating the glass. Knicks dominated the glass the last game, like I knew they would, even without Mitchell Robinson. We've been a dominant rebounding team all year. Mitch has only played 31 games. We're still number 1 offensive rebounding team in basketball, and we're top 5 in overall rebounds. So we're just a great rebounding team, even with this undersized. Oh, you're undersized, you're small. Our small guys rebound very well. Definitely another key to the game was attacking Joel Embiid. So I'm going to get to free throws in a second. I want to get to the free throws. Hopefully I could get to that because it's a key thing about free throws. The thing about this game is Joel Embiid is so limited from a mobility standpoint that he has become worse or more liable than Jokic on the defensive end. Like to the point where Hartenstein gets these little flip shots in the lane that if Embiid was 100%, he would contest. He can't even bother to contest. Sometimes he doesn't even rebound the ball. Like if Embiid is not in position to get the rebound, he's not even going to try to fight to get over or nothing like that. Now, he may do a dirty play and throw you on the floor. He is not. He is good for that. That's one thing we could guarantee, right, guys? But, salute, Coach. Salute, Coach, you in the building. I see you early. Salute to Coach CR in the building. Definitely, we getting ready to hit some more of these topics. We're moving fast. I'm getting ready to get in the flagship. So if you're here for the flagship, we're going to get to that in a couple of minutes. I'm just going to break down. We're going to do a preview tonight as to why I think the Knicks definitely will get the job done. I have no concerns, no qualms as to why we will get the job done. So they already showed in Game 4 that you can attack Joel Embiid. They showed that he has durability issues in the fourth quarter, right? They also have an issue with the non-Joel Embiid minutes. Maxey hasn't been able to get them over the hump, especially in the last game. The best game Maxey had, in my opinion, in terms of being able to actually get them over the hump, especially in the non-Joel Embiid minutes, was the game they won, which was Game 3. In game 4, one of the things that I noted in that game as I was doing a live play-by-play is that Joel Embiid didn't come out the fourth. And then the Knicks did what they had to do by winning the third quarter. Tonight, I think it's going to be a blowout. I'm not sure if it's going to be a wire-to-wire win, but I think that the Knicks definitely will blow this game open. On the video topic, I don't see Booker coming. Yeah, but I'm gonna get to Booker. To be honest, they could get Booker. I'll get to that in a second. Booker could be had for a couple of reasons why he could be had, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. So, but let me just do this preview, Coach. We gonna get to that. But the third quarter. So I think, like I said, I think there's going to be a blowout victory. I don't see the Sixers even being competitive tonight, and I think Joel Embiid probably sits out most of the second half because they're getting killed. His leg is not 100%, though. It don't make sense. But those 9 Joel Embiid minutes, they're cooked. And another thing too, like the durability, like we got guys that can play 45 minutes like it's nothing. The Knicks are battle tested. A lot of these teams are not battle tested. They fold when they lose their star players. The Sixers, they have a sub 500 record without Joel Embiid. So when Joel Embiid's not on the floor, they're not the same team. We lost our entire front court, and we still managed to get to a point where we won 50 games. Imagine if we were healthy. So, yeah, I don't even see this game being close. I mean, look at ESPN trying to give us props for the first. I mean, this might be the first time on this matchup predictor, maybe besides game 1. I think game 1 we definitely were the favorite coming in, but we are -4.5. So even the bookies gave us -4.5. And I think the series is over. I just don't see these guys being able to overcome the hump that the challenges that were presented in game 4. I think the challenges continue. I think Jalen Brunson, he's due for another 40-point night, or at least like mid-30s. They don't have no answer for him. Kelly Oubre, none of these guys can guard him. You know, you could name somebody. They just don't have a shot. But the Sixers, they remain confident. You know, Joel Embiid says he, one game at a time. You know, we're good enough to win. We just didn't make shots. You're not going to make shots. You know why? Because we don't. And another key factor to that game that we had, one of the 6 keys, is do not unnecessarily double team Joel Embiid. Don't double him when he's not a threat to score. And it's simple. If you do that, these guys can't create their own shot. The only guys that sort of can create shot, well, Maxey for sure could create his own shot, but Lowry is not creating his own shot. Kelly Oubre could technically create his own shot. It's just that the way the Sixers offense is constructed, they don't put him in positions to be a threat to create shots for himself. He gets open threes if he slashes to the basket, but he never gets an opportunity. Like, they don't run plays for him to create offense at all. And he's actually a guy that could actually score for them, but they don't. So none of those guys on the team can create their own offense. So tonight I expect a blowout victory, right? New York City stand up, right? I expect a blowout victory tonight. Let's see. Maxey said it, they're confident. You know, all these guys are confident. Kelly Oubre, to even back up what I said about Jalen Brunson, Kelly Oubre said 34 shots, right? He's a great player, great player. I love playing against him. I love his game. He has a lot of fundamentals and skill sets to his game. But anybody who shoots 34 shots who has skills and is a great player, they're going to be able to do well. Especially when you get screens and you're trying to find the right matchups and things like that. He's a great player. He's going to capitalize on this thing. First off, that is Oubre Jr. Oubre Jr., KO, as they call him. That's him saying that. Does that sound like somebody who actually believes they're going to win tonight? Or does that sound like somebody who was defeated? He said that Jalen Brunson's a great player. He's a great player, great player. And there's no sarcasm in that, okay? Right? 34 shots, he has skills. That sounds like somebody who's defeated. Embiid is the only one, and Maxey also kind of was saying how they think they could get the job done, but they just sound like a defeated team. Even Nick Nurse was praising Jalen Brunson. This is not the time to praise the ops. You praise the ops when the series is over. So I guess what? The series is over, and they're giving us the praise. So salute to the Knicks for getting the job done. We're going to get it done tonight. Sure, guaranteed. So like I said, Bojan and those boys will be out. Mitch is questionable, but Bojan will be out tonight. I talked about that a little earlier. If you missed that part, you could go back and watch it. So I'm gonna jump into the flagship topic while most of you guys are here. So most of you guys is here at the right time in the right place. Let me just get the article. Okay, so bet. So I got it on the screen. Daily News is the only one that kind of wrote about this. So actually, Stephen A. Smith is the one who started this narrative about Devin Booker wanting to come to the Knicks. Of course, it comes conveniently after the Suns were swept. The Suns were swept. KD, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal swept in the first round. It's crazy. I don't even know how to, when you look at KD's resume, boy, I mean, this is a huge stain. I mean, they gave him the excuse with the Brooklyn Nets, which I didn't give them the excuse. I feel like they got swept. A sweep is a sweep, right? And then what's the excuse with Phoenix? I mean, to not win a game? Even the Sixers won a game. Even the Lakers won a game against the defending champions, bro. Right? The Pelicans didn't win a game because Zion's not there. That's a convenient excuse. So if KD wasn't there, okay, you get swept. But to have KD, Bill, and Booker and get swept, Now, I know a lot of people, a lot of you guys, coach, and we're talking about Devin Booker right now, coach. A lot of people, who frown on the deal, right? I actually did a poll this morning. Maybe I'll look into it in a second when we get to Word in the Street right after this. But a lot of people who frown on the Devin Booker trade can argue that, well, Devin Booker hasn't won anything. He went to the finals. I mean, definitely got outclassed. Didn't get swept, but he definitely got outclassed in the finals, right? Why should we trade the farm for Devin Booker, right? Now, let's see if there's anything in here significant in this article that I want to share. I'm just talking about the big three, what I just talked about. From what I'm being told, now here's the kicker, right? So from what I'm being told, I don't know if it'll ever happen. Devin Booker wants to be in New York. This is what Stephen A. Smith said. That's what I'm being told. Now he might deny it, right? Which Devin Booker did deny it. And he said he hasn't spoken to him. So allegedly, someone in his team, right? He said that the scuttlebutt in the NBA circles is the brother wants to be in New York, right? Who, at this point, looking at the Knicks right now, if you're on a team that's disgruntled, who doesn't want to be in New York? I mean, I think I could think of a lot of people that would want to be in New York right now. The Suns won't trade him. He's locked in. You know what, Coach? I think that the Suns can't afford to trade him, especially if they're not going to get somebody on his caliber. Like if we were trading Jalen Brunson, then I think that the Suns might be open to it, but we're not going to trade Jalen Brunson. That would be stupid. But Coach, I agree with you. Don't believe it. Coach coming at Stephen A. You know what? Stephen A. He does have a hit or miss kind of thing. But I'm gonna say this though, Coach. I think Stephen A. might be on the money with this one, and the reason why I'm saying it, I think that, especially when you're getting swept, you're emotional. I could see him, a conversation emerging like, yo, you know what? Look at the Knicks. They balling right now, because the Knicks just won that game and kind of was the talk of the town since that happened. Hey, yo, what would I look like in New York? If the Suns don't want to trade for Booker, or if Booker doesn't want to come to the Knicks, Coach, then I agree. I don't think it's going to happen. But if Devin Booker wants to come to the Knicks, I think it can happen. Hold on. Let's pull up Devin Booker's contract for a second, right? So I know some of the naysayers who don't want Devin Booker is gonna talk about his contract. So we're in research mode. Let's pull up his contract, right? So we got Sports Track. Sports Track is the number one site if you wanna look at contracts. Now here's the scary part. Here's the scary part, right? And everybody keeps talking about stars. And the way the current NBA is set up with all of these it's mad complicated for no reason, right? But basically, in a nutshell, what the NBA has done is made it harder for teams to just stack up on max caliber players by increasing the penalties and luxury tax if you have multiple guys on the team. They have multiple guys that can make up to $60 million on the Phoenix Suns, with KD, Bill, and Booker. So here's why they probably are going to want to trade at least one of these guys is to take that $61 million. You see that 2028, guys? Let me just go up a little bit. See that 2028, $61 million? This is what happens now when we're talking about stars. This is what happens when we're talking about stars. Stars make a lot of money. As you know, the Knicks kind of get discounts. They're not really signing guys to $60 million deals. Even JB with his next deal, maybe 45, 50. I see that. But the $61 million, right? You're talking about guys getting $300 million in 6 years. Let's see what coach is saying. It's Dolan's money. No, but it's not just Dolan's money. It's the restrictions with the way the salary cap is set up. For example, look at the Phoenix Suns roster. I really don't want to pull up their roster, but let's pull up their roster, right? So we're going to put up the Phoenix Suns salary cap, right? Phoenix Suns salary cap. It restricts you. Even if you have money, I hear you, coach. It's just a different NBA today, right? Because it restricts you in your ability to put together a team when you have multiple guys earning $60 million a year. Because do note that so the potential trade for Devin Booker will be Julius Randle and possibly Mitchell Robinson. You trade those two salaries, then you'll be able to get Devin Booker or any other star that makes $49 to $50 million. You're going to have to package more than likely those two guys, right? I don't want to do the trade. I'm just telling you what could get the deal done, right? If Booker wants to be traded, even if the Suns don't want to trade him, if Booker says, I ain't want to be traded to the Knicks could make it happen, right? But look at their salary, right? So they got 3 players on this team, right? And this is this year, so I don't have next year, but let's just ride with this year. They got 3 players that make $150 million. It crippled the Suns' opportunity, coach, to put together a team. Look at the rest of the guys on the team. You got Nurkic, who makes $18 million, and Grayson Allen. Luckily, they were able to re-sign Allen and gave him a deal, right, for $15 million. Outside of Allen and Nurkic, everybody's making pretty much veteran minimums. Why? Because the way the cap is set up, you can't sign additional players outside of this minimum that you see here. You see the 2.6. Hold on, let me scroll up a little bit. You see the $2.6 million, the 2.8, the 2.8, the 2.9, 3.5. You see that? That's all they can afford. They can't build the team. So I'm with you, coach. I'm not saying I want to do the trade, right? Bojan salary too. Yeah, Bojan salary. Okay, so if not Mitch, then Bojan. But I don't know. Do you think Phoenix will want Bojan or would they want Mitch? Because what they really need is a center, right? And then you're possibly going to have to get a third team involved. That's why I threw Mitch in there. I don't want to trade Mitch or Randall. Listen, Knicks Nation, don't kill me. I'm just trying to show you how the deal can get done, coach. So Bojan, yes, Bojan has $19 million on his contract. So yeah, they could put 19. Bojan's 19 with Randall. I think he might be at 30 or right under 30. You put that together, that's $50 million and maybe 2 picks, Bradley Beal. That's how you're gonna get him, right? So that's why I'm saying, coach. See what I'm saying, Mitch? So if you put Mitch with Randall, that's gonna be more appeasing for the Suns, in my opinion, right? Because if they do that, let's say they want to keep KD. More than likely, they'll keep KD, move Booker, and then move Bill to get a point guard. That would be the logic to me. You want to trade Randall? All right. Unless I'm getting to Devin Booker, right? Devin Booker is a guy who I feel like he is an All-NBA team, second team caliber player. The problem for me, right, and this is my problem, y'all, right? This is why I don't want to do the trade, is one, Devin Booker is a ball-dominant guard. He's not a point guard. Brunson is a point guard. I just feel like, and I said this with the whole Donovan Mitchell thing, the only difference is I think Booker is like 6'6", though. So I don't think Booker is a small guard. Hold on. Do we have his height here? I think Booker is 6'6", right? Let's see. Statistics. I just wanted to see his height. They don't got it here. Never mind. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", right? So he has more size than Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell also 6'2", 6'3". So it's like small guards, two small guards together, and they both don't play defense. I don't like that, right? Because Dante at least can play a little defense, right? Devin Booker is not a bad defender. I just wouldn't say he puts much effort on the defensive end, right? He has a little size. Could a backcourt with Brunson and Booker be crazy? I think so. I just haven't seen the example in NBA history of two ball-dominant guards. They talk about, oh, small guards don't win championships. We've seen small guards win championships, though, of course, it's the team. It's not one player. It's never one player who wins the championship. That's all. I don't want to open up those. I'm going to stay focused on where we are, right? In terms of championships, you don't see two ball-dominant guards together winning championships. I don't know why that is. I just don't think that that's a recipe for success. What do you think, Coach? You want to trade Randall? First trade out the door, Coach. I'm a Cat guy. Yeah, but Cat. Okay, let's talk about Cat for a second, Coach. And anybody else watching, we got some people in the building. Let us know. It can't just be me and Coach talking. Yeah, he's 6'5", right, Coach? Okay, cool. But let's talk about Cat. Here's why I don't want to trade Randall for Cat. Randall has been a 3-time All-Star. He would have been 3-time All-NBA if he didn't get hurt. Cat recently just became an All-Star again. Maybe All-NBA team. I'm not sure if they released it yet. I know that that's coming soon. But what does Cat give you that Randall doesn't give you besides maybe a couple of blocks? I think Towns is averaging a little over a block a game, right? Or maybe 2. But outside of blocks and a little bit of height, what does Towns give you that Randall doesn't give you, right? And I think Randall possibly, we could pull it up since we're in research mode. Why not? Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. We're going to pull up Karl-Anthony Towns stats because I'm not sure off the top of the head what his numbers is. I'm just telling you, I know what Randall's numbers is, right? We're going to compare Karl-Anthony Towns to Randall. Being that's what we're talking about. That's the trade that we want, right? So, all right, let's pull it up here. So Towns gave you this year, he gave you 21, 8, 3. Let's get the full stat line. So this year he gave you 21. He played 62 games. So he's not going to be All-NBA. For sure, he's not. He was an All-Star. He gave you 8 rebounds, right? He didn't even give you a block. So Randall's not giving you a block. Towns is not giving you a block. And only 3 assists. Randall, to me, right now, is a better player than Karl-Anthony Towns. Randall can shoot the 3 ball. He can post. In fact, I think, honestly, Randall is more of a, when his mind is right, like last year, I know last season he took a lot of threes, but this year he was taking it to the basket, right? Towns loves the perimeter. He loves the fadeaway shot. He loves shooting from way out. I don't think Towns is the guy. He's injury prone. Yes, he might have played more games this year than Randall, but if you look at his career, last year he played 29 games, then 74, then 50, then 35, right? And then, of course, when he was young, he was playing well. But once he started catching the injury bug, he misses a lot of time, And then look, he played 62 games this year. And now he's not going to be All-NBA. So and also his contract is just not a favorable contract too. I think they have his Basketball Reference should have the contract. Hold on, just a trick finding all this stuff. His contract, yeah. So okay, $49 million next season. So if you trade for Randall for Towns, it's not going to be a straight up deal. You're going to have to also give up Bojan, which okay, we give up Bojan. And you're going to have to pay this guy $53 million, $57 million, $61 million. I already showed you that when you get multiple guys with this $50, $60 million, it limits your ability to sign players, especially if you have to trade players. So if you're going to trade for a star, hopefully it's just going to be 2 players, Randall and a Bojan or Mitch. I don't want to trade these guys, but I'm just telling you what it's going to take. And then you're going to have to be able to absorb the $60 million. And then you got to pay Brunson is probably going to want at least 50 to 45. Maybe Brunson says, I don't want to kill your pockets. We could do it like I just explained earlier. We'll put the top, the weight, the highest yearly salary in the beginning. So let's say Brunson's year salary will be $55 million. We'll put it in the beginning, and then it'll descend from 50 to 48, 47. That's the way the Knicks structure their contracts, right? Exactly. Yeah, Coach. Brock Aller. And am I sure if you was here, Coach? I talked about Brock Aller. Right now, the Hornets is interviewing him for the job. You know what I'm saying? So we might lose Brock. Hopefully we don't. But that was the latest rumor that the Hornets were interviewing Brock for the deal. So, in a nutshell, I honestly can't think of the All-NBA player. First team, second team. Got to be first team, second team. Like, that's why the Towns trade don't make sense, too. He's not even All-NBA team, bro. If you're going to do a trade for a guy who makes $60 million, he has to at least be All-NBA team. Can we agree on that, Coach? If we get a guy who's making that much money, you got to at least be All-NBA second team multiple years. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're not All-NBA second team multiple years, and multiple years could just be 2 years. Doesn't have to be, that much. I can't think of a guy right now besides, and I think you talked about Joel Embiid, right? I still would trade Joel, even though we hate Joel Embiid right now, and it's FMB because he's with the Ops. I think that if Embiid said he wanted to come to New York and we had to make that deal happen, I think I would trade Randall and Mitch or Bojan. But more than likely, they'll probably want Randall and Mitch because they'll need a center for Embiid. He's the only guy that may be available because, like I said, his team will be going home tonight. All the other top guys, maybe Giannis might become available, because they're definitely going home in the next game too. The Bucks, maybe Giannis says, enough of this. But then again, you got to ask yourself, if there's an All-NBA player up for trade, why are they up for trade? What success has they had? At least Giannis won a championship, but Giannis also is tied to 3 coaches in 1 year. And they won games. They were the number 1 seed last year. I can't remember how many wins they had last year, right? Of course, that total dropped. I think they won 50-something last year. It dropped from that to now they won, 49 games or 48 games. Right, and that's because they made a coaching change mid-season. They were 30-13 with AJ Griffin. I don't understand it. It's crazy. Adrian Griffin, I don't. So even if you were to trade for Giannis, right, it's like the baggage that comes with that. Also, he gets hurt at the wrong time. This is the second year in a row he's hurt in the playoff series. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you said Cat for it and B. Yeah, but I don't want Cat, Coach. I just showed you what comes with Cap. You're going to have to pay him $61 million, right? He hasn't been an All-NBA in like 4 years. The last time he won All-NBA, let's see if I can pull it up right here. All right. So not only is Julius Randle's numbers better than Cat's, right? And mind you, we understand that Cat is playing with Anthony Edwards, right? Okay, Randle's playing with Brunson, and he's still giving you 25, right? 10 and 4 or 5. Let's see. All right. So Towns, the last time Towns won All-NBA, he was a third teamer in 22. Okay, I give him that. 22. That's 2 years, right? But I mean, I don't know. I don't want Cat. I don't want Cat. I don't want. So you don't want Booker, right? I don't want Booker either. But it could get done. Don't be surprised if Booker wants out. Phoenix is willing to take or orchestrate a 3-team deal, and Randall will be in that trade if it happens. There's not going to be anyone else. Nova Boys ain't going anywhere. It'll be Randall, Bojan or Mitch, and picks. That's how that deal would get done. Oh, so okay, Coach. So you don't want Embiid? All right. Well, I take Embiid over Cat. Embiid is an MVP, bro. And then, if you have a great center with a great point guard, that's the recipe for success. Like, That's the recipe for success. Is Cat a great player? I don't know, family. I don't know about that. I think he's a good player. I wouldn't say great. I don't like his durability. Um, Julius Randle would have been All NBA this year if he didn't get hurt. Fluke injury, by the way. Like I said, yeah, Towns to me, he's a better defender than Randle, right? But if you got OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson, you don't really, look at Minnesota's defense. Do you attribute that to Karl-Anthony Towns, or do you attribute that to Rudy Gobert, the McDaniels kid, right? Mike Conley, who plays defense. To me, even Anthony Edwards is in positions where he has to play more defense than Towns. You know? He had the best season. Yeah. I mean, he did have his best season on the. Yeah, we could pull that up. He did have his best season under Coach Tibbs. You talking about? Let's see. You talking about? Hold on. Here's the total points. I know all this advanced stuff. Let's scroll up. Yeah, per game. So you talking about? But the 20. These years here. 2018, 2019. These years here. He was an all-star, most improved. When he was averaging like 24 and 12, right? 26 and 10, right? Yeah. But to be fair and honest, Randall's giving you those numbers now, and he makes way less, and they're the same age. So it's like I just don't see the Randall for Cat trade. I don't think that's an upgrade. I think that the Knicks are a championship contending team right now. You know what I'm saying? Even with Randall, that's just my take. I don't see him bringing us over the top. Am I tripping, Coach? Let me know. Let me know if I'm tripping. I just don't. I don't see an upgrade with Towns. All I see is more money. Like it's like more expensive. So it's like, do you take the guy who's more expensive? Not really giving you more production for the guy just because we don't like the guy that's giving you the production he's giving you? What do you think, Coach? What do you think? Right now it's the me and Coach show. Yo, salute the Coach, man, holding it down, man. So we covered flagship. We definitely over time. But I like this conversation with Coach. Coach is really bringing some good points. We disagree over Cat, but that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything. Hold on, my chat is hold on. I don't know why my chat window shows up kind of small on the computer. Let's see. Randall will never be the same. Hey, you know what? Randall, that's a good reason to trade him. If you don't think Randall's going to be the same, meaning that he can't get you to 24, 10, and 5, maybe the Cat trade isn't a bad trade. Just know that if you do get Cat, the injuries, Randall had fluke injuries. You know what I'm saying? He came down on somebody's foot. That's how he tweaked his ankle. Jaime Jaquez with the dirty play, threw him down in the air, fell on his shoulder. Outside of that, Randall doesn't get hurt, bro. So yeah, I mean, hey, if you don't think he's going to be the same, then we might have to move on from Randall. I'm with you with that, Coach. I'm definitely with you with that. If he is not the same, you can't afford to bring him back because he's also going to be due for a contract, and Randall might be talking that $50 million talk too. So anybody else think? What you guys think about Booker? I think we covered Booker to a T. Least amount of pick and roll from the well, I agree. They should run more pick and roll, especially when you look at the landscape of power forwards in the league. That's the weakest position in basketball, bro. I mean, you got shooting guards playing power forward. Like look at Josh Hart, perfect example. So I think that they would get a lot more productivity or efficient buckets if they did do pick and roll a lot more. Because, Randall sometimes he likes to isolate in the high post, sometimes from the top of the key, right? Sometimes he does, want to post up in that mid post. Randall, he kind of is more of an ISO kind of player. He is. He also likes to initiate the offense off the rebound. That's another thing he does too. Sort of like Giannis. But I think that he's better than Giannis in terms of, not better than Giannis as a player. This is what I mean by that. Is that he's just a threat to shoot. He's a better shooter than Giannis, right? So Giannis just wants to go downhill. Of course, Giannis is the best going downhill. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that off the rebound, if you take away Giannis's freakish athleticism, Randall to me would probably be one of the most dangerous fours with the ball in his hand off the rebound. I can't think of any other fours that play like that. On an all-star level where get the rebound, take it down full length. Giannis just burns you out with his athleticism. He's fast, he's big, he's strong. More than likely, if Giannis gets the rebound, only guards are running with him. I feel real too, man. I think that's a work in progress, coach. Remember, this is their second year together. Maybe that's something you bring in the third year. I like marketing. I just don't know if I'm trading Randall for marketing right now. I feel like Randall has accomplished so much that marketing hopes to accomplish, right? I don't even think marketing was an all-star this year. In terms of getting someone who can stretch the floor, don't forget Randall stretches the floor too. Sometimes we think the grass is greener on the other side, but in reality, hey, the grass is pretty green where you are. So I'm gonna move on. A couple of other stuff I didn't get to cover because we kind of got sidetracked with the flagship topic. Hey, but sometimes people say I don't give them what I give them in the flagship topic. I think that we hit the flagship topic on the nail, right? Right now, the Devin Booker thing is just a rumor. Hold on, let me I gotta sign into my YouTube. But the Devin Booker trade was a rumor that kind of was started by Stephen A. Smith. Devin Booker said that it's not true, right? His team released that statement. I think it is true, though. I know Coach was saying that he doesn't think it's true. I think it's true because I could see them having a conversation, a candid conversation after a loss. And it's like, yo, what do we do next? And just looking at the landscape. Oh, look, the Knicks. The Knicks, that might be a good place to go. I could see that being a conversation. Not that it's going to happen, but just something that to entertain, right? So I'm going to jump into Word on the Street. Word on the Street, if you don't know, it's just the perspective of I do polls daily. I try to do daily polls. Sometimes it's every other day. But just to see where the community is in their mind state. So we'll start here. So this was game 2. I don't want to go back to game 2. Let's start here with the most improved. So Dante, people feel like he was snubbed because he didn't meet the criteria for most improved player because he didn't have enough minutes. He had the game qualifications. He just didn't have enough. I think it was like 20 minutes or something like that. He just fell short of the minutes requirement to qualify to win that most improved player of the year award. So Tyrese Maxey got it. And I asked Knicks fans, do you think that Dante deserved the most improved player award more than Maxey? So I'm gonna put yes, he's balling. So 279 votes. 58% of the fans says yes, he was balling. He deserves it. So we believe that Dante DiVincenzo deserved the most improved player award more than Maxey. Joel Embiid, I love this image, by the way. I'm gonna try to use this image every chance I get. I'll probably use it in tomorrow's poll too. So a heartbroken. Oh, I wish I had flowers and some sort of like sounds that convey emotion, like an emotional moment. Oh, he's emotional. Joel Embiid's emotional. So a heartbroken Joel Embiid vowed to win the series after losing the first 2 games on the road. Are the Knicks vulnerable to losing the series to the Sixers? And then, of course, Knicks fans, 327 votes. 77% said, hell no. 18% said they could come back. And 5% said they don't know. Salute to the people that say they don't know. I respect the I don't know people because that shows a sign of intelligence. You're not trying to pass off like you know something you don't. And to be honest, this was when the series was 2-0. And, you know, to the 18% that said that he could come back, hopefully you changed your mind. Hopefully you changed your mind. So let's jump into the next poll. So attention Knicks fans. The Knicks rose to the occasion, dismantling the Sixers down the stretch in their second home win, in their second home, the Wells Fargo Arena. Besides Brunson's 47 points, what was the most impressive thing about the last game? All right, okay, cool. So we got 247 votes. I'm going to say it's the fourth quarter defense on Joel Embiid. So 77% said the most impressive thing besides Brunson's 47 was the defense on Joel Embiid. I think we did a good job doing that. 13% said Josh Hart's domination on the glass despite not having a field goal. And 10% say OG double-double. So, and this is the last poll we'll get into. I posted this earlier today, 127 votes. The flagship topic of the day, let's see what the Knicks fans think, right? Should the Knicks consider trading for Devin Booker? I'm going to say I don't know. So, Knicks fans, for the most part, out of the 122 votes, 59% say, no, I like what we have, right? And I'm kind of leaning towards that. I want to see the team come back next year with a healthy Julius Randle, healthy OG, healthy Mitch the whole year. I kind of want to see what that looks like. I think that we could honestly, depending on what happens with Boston, hell, we might win the East in terms of being a number one seed. I think that team is that good. Come back with the same team. Now Deuce get another year under his belt, knowing his role as the backup. Hey, maybe you bring Bojan back. It's only a 1-year deal, right? Precious Anunoby, try to get him back. And bring Hartenstein back. I say it's worth a shot. You know what I'm saying? So that's all for Word on the Street. That's all. I'm going to end it here, guys. Any final thoughts, guys? Coach, salute to you, man. Let's see what Coach is talking about. You think Derek White should have? Yeah, you know what, Coach? Derek White should have got the Most Improved Player award. I think Derek White definitely took his. To be honest, Derek White, he overcame Holiday. In my opinion, at least in his productivity. Maybe Holiday is still a better player technically, but you can't ignore this kid, Derek White. And trust me, we don't like the Celtics, but we got to give our credit to where it's due. So, but that's all for this pod, man. Yo, thank you for rocking with me, man. Thank you for showing up, guys. I missed yesterday. The podcast date is Mondays. It will be Mondays. It's just I did the live play-by-play. Kind of threw off my entire schedule because I didn't get a chance to record the pod for Monday. And then Monday was kind of a crazy day, man. But I'm still working on the Discord, guys. Be sure to look out for the Discord. I will be promoting it hard and heavy. Get at me on all the platforms. We have a TikTok. We have an IG. We everywhere, the Objective Knicks fan. Facebook for sure. Facebook is definitely growing well. And just a lot more to come, man. I'm going to continue doing this content. Honestly, 2024, for me personally, my life is kind of comparable to the Knicks. The Knicks had to overcome so many odds. Injuries, right? Making trades, getting guys acclimated. Sometimes playing 7 guys, 8 guys. And it's honestly the Knicks that inspired me in my life to overcome so many challenges. Some of you guys may not have noted, the camera I got is a nice camera, better than the other camera I was using, but sometimes it'll lag, right? And I had to figure that out. And then even more challenging on a personal level that, personal life stuff that we all kind of go through. And, the Knicks really was that motivation. And I just love where we are as a franchise. Salute to Coach, man. Coach is definitely Coach. I'm gonna make you a mod, man. You know what? Let me make Coach a mod. Coach, you're going to be a mod. Hold on. Let me figure. Yep, add as a moderator. Boom. So, Coach, you are now a mod. Salute to Coach for becoming mod status. salute to the people that subscribed off of this video during this live. Definitely the movement's growing. I just want to build the most popping Knicks fan, level-headed, keywords on level-headed, not just delusional Knicks fans, where we could have conversations, because let's keep it real. We don't really know too many real Knicks fans, right? Like, we might know people, because especially if you live in New York, they like the Knicks, but they don't really talk Knicks basketball. That's what this community is for. That's why I'm going to do the Discord. It's going to be way better than Facebook, way more personal, way more everything. So hopefully by next week, I should have it done. Definitely before the next pod. That's what I'm aiming for. So, but yeah, salute to Coach. You are now a mod. And there's a couple of other people I want to make mods. Salute to everybody who tuned in. And that's all for this podcast. So like I always say, and you know what the vibes are. So until next time, let's go Knicks.